And so, covered in the oil of infinite lubrication, they become sexual Voltron. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just finishing some, fan fiction from season 1. But you are here to, have me regale you of the tales of season 2 of the Osrynn Tales live D&D. Yes, so, let me think, we began this season in episode 1 with Reshi coming back from Santexlos's demiplane, where she learned to be a monk of the Ascendant Dragon. She returns to Asari to see the town built up. New people, new merchants, new vendors all throughout the town. Houses outside the main walls because there's too little space inside to house all the newcomers to this rapidly growing town on the coast of Amirius. Yes, she walks through the main gates of the town, crosses the bridge, and back into her guild hall, which itself has grown quite considerably since the last time she was here. Damu has made a temple to the celestial dragons where he preaches their good words. There is a bank vault for the public to store their funds if they wish, and there's a personal vault for our adventurers to use and keep separate, so they can keep their own belongings safe. There's a tavern now, a full functioning tavern at the guild hall where Rowan plays and Kothe drinks, and most impressively, the blacksmith that they have built has now been outfitted with the head of David, their warforged companion that died last season. If you remember, Tail salvaged his head and now has inserted the head of David into the blacksmith, creating a conscious smithy. That's right, David has achieved some amount of resurrection, and he is now the blacksmith itself. It is a full autonomous smith that can build things without an actual person inside of it, or aid a blacksmith should they decide to work there. Alongside of this achievement, Tail has started learning the ways of the artificer from David, and he is building an auto cart, a wagon, a cart that does not need a horse or any animal to pull it, but instead propels itself via its own locomotion. Having returned to town and making their group whole, Vilmar notices Reshi's return. He gathers the group in their private meeting quarters in the guild hall and asks them all to agree to a favor without knowing what that favor is. Rowan declines, as he is still a little sensitive about Vilmar killing David, and he leaves the meeting. But the rest of them stay, the rest of them agree. Vilmar explains to them that early in his adventuring life, he had come afoul of a death knight, an evil undead creature who struck him with a sword, and though it did not fell him, it did leave a lingering corruption as a piece of the blade broke off inside of him. Many clerics and healers worked on Vilmar, and they were able to remove the shard of the sword, but they were not able to stem the corruption, only slow it to a crawl. However, recently, the corruption has been gaining speed. It has been turning Vilmar's personality darker and darker and more towards evil. Vilmar posits the theory that this is why he was so eager to kill David without knowing who he was, and why he didn't have a second thought about slaying the kobolds in Santexlos's demiplane factory. He asks the group the actual favor, which is to please, if this corruption is to ever fully take him over, turn him into an undead soldier, or even worse, another death knight, that they would take it upon themselves to destroy him before the corruption would take its full course. For now, however, he requests to be chained up inside their vault. He asks for either Sift or Damu or one of the other former main adventuring party of their group to take care of him while the rest of the group is out adventuring and doing their good works. And he explains to the group that his cousin Amriel took his family's sword north, far north, to look for signs of this Death Knight in the last place that they knew him to have been. He says, should Amriel ever find any information about the Death Knight, that she would come back and tell the group so that they could deal with the problem. Furthermore, Vilmar has let the group know that he is not just stepping down from his group, but is bringing in a new person to the guild to fill his place. An old friend of his, a golden half-dragon by the name of Ajahar Sunray. He is an eldritch knight and of a similar level of combat superiority as Vilmar was. He says that Ajahar is going to help them in their quests, and when or if Amriel returns with information about the Death Knight, he will then also help them destroy the Death Knight, as Ajahar was one of Vilmar's good friends and adventuring companions when he was fighting against the Death Knight all those years ago. But before we get into that, and while Amriel is doing her good works, there was a small problem that the group has been neglecting to deal with until now, and that is of Dontzarconi, the mob boss. As they are preparing to leave Asari and head the 2-day journey across the Celestine Bay to the town of Reneus Alanar to deal with Dontzarconi, a representative of the Adventurers League of the Allied Nations of Firon comes to their guild hall and requests that instead of operating illegally, they are to sign and register as an actual guild. They must pay 1,000 gold registration fee now and keep up to date with that registration fee every 5 years, as well as give a percentage of their yearly earnings to the league itself. But when the group says that they are busy and they are preparing to deal with a mobster in Reneus Alanar, the representative says that he will waive their taxation fee for that same mobster. Dontzarconi has his thumb pressed firmly upon the backs of the Adventurers League. The only reason they instituted a tax to begin with is because Dontzarconi is making them pay taxes to him. Without Dontzarconi, there would be no need for taxation, just the simple registration fee. And agreeing to this, our group sets across the Celestine Bay to the city of Reneus Alanar. And much to my surprise, they spend but one night at Pollux Poles before walking straight into Dontzarconi's place and killing him. Just outrightly, they walk in there, and in a hailstorm of arcane Tommy gun fire, where Tail and Rowan were grievously injured but not killed, they managed to murder Dontzarconi in his own establishment. That is where we ended last session. We bring you back into Dontzarconi's club, where Tail has found a mysterious and evil-feeling book. A book which he is about to find out is the Book of Vile Darkness. A book that is very tempting to a wizard to have, with having the book and attuning to its pages not only gives you many forms of information about devils and demons and extraplanar beings, but it also preternaturally increases your own intelligence, making your spellcasting all that much better. So, take you now back into the world of the Osrynn Tales to find out how Tail is going to take this discovery and to start episode 2 of the Osrynn Tales live D&D. Enjoy the show.